I'm not confident on screen, so I have my script in front of me because I don't want to mess up. I want to hold myself accountable to being driven and creating things, whatever that may be. So the best way to do that is by indulging in my greatest fears, which is being vulnerable. The most important thing I want to share is that I'm currently in a master's program for screenwriting, and I'm so ridiculously privileged to be where I am, but that privilege is a constant reminder of the crippling debt and instability that I live amongst. Being and exercising my creativity feels almost sinful when I acknowledge that I don't know where I'm headed and I don't have a tangible solution for my problems. That really is the bottom line. I chose my passion over my security, and that in itself feels incredibly selfish. I study amongst an incredibly talented and driven set of peers, and I'm grateful to be growing alongside them. But with comparison being the thief of joy, I can't help but pit myself against my creative counterparts, all while feeling like I'm not enough. I don't watch enough film to critique it, and I haven't written enough to be confident in my craft. I'm not equipped enough to chime in on anything, really. So naturally, I'm about to chime in. This is going to be niche. I grew up on the internet and I grew up in the ends. Like its sister cities, Toronto has been a hustling, bustling hub of culture and creativity for a really long time. Some of the local creatives who have made significant breakthrough in global creative spaces have truly paved the way for those beneath them, which is what I really wanted to hone in on. I watched a podcast episode of some of my favorite people, which kind of inspired me to talk about this. I wanted to focus on my king, Jasmeet Raina, also known as Just Rain. Jasmeet has written the many jokes that my friends and I would relay back in school. TV band, computer band, phone band.
Mummy band, daddy band.
Starting off on YouTube, he would make sit-down videos like Chillin' on My Porch to rant videos like The Most Annoying Brown Girls, and he even branched out into full-fledged skits and music videos with the help of his friends. Over the years, these skits increased in their production, his editing got better, and he generally solidified his on-screen presence and eventually his brand as a whole. I personally feel like he blew up outside of the Toronto sphere when Vine came along, when he started collaborating with the likes of Tim, Zachary Piona, Cody Ko, etc. These were much bigger names in the US at the time. While branching out in that era, he maintained his YouTube presence with skits and rant videos that more or less hit every single time. Though still sought after, his videos fell into a routine of sorts. He kept up his work until 2018, where he seemingly disappeared from social media entirely. Again, I know this is niche, but trust me when I say Jasmeet has shimmied his way into so many childhoods that people were making thought pieces trying to justify his disappearance. It wasn't a case of him getting cancelled, he just seemed to vanish. Now, I've been a consumer my whole life, from video games to traditional film and TV, to social media like YouTube, Vine, and now TikTok. I'm hoping it's common sense by now that on-screen personalities, as intimate as they may be, are not a direct translation of what a person is like in real life. There may be core elements of a person on screen, but it's never entirely them. Communication is one of the strengths I pride myself in, which is why I know this video may resonate with someone. But if you know me, you know I don't talk like this. I'm a product of my environment. I was raised on the colloquialisms and cultures of Mississauga, making me a shorty from the ends. This might be because his content was pivotal to my upbringing, but in spite of knowing this, I somehow couldn't detach Just Rain from Jasmeet. They came hand in hand. And aside from acknowledging him as a creator, I just thought he was a regular brown boy. Now, taking a couple steps back, I am really grateful for being able to pursue this degree. Never in my wildest dreams did I believe that I'd be able to mentally, emotionally, or creatively fund this aspiration, let alone financially. It's a privilege I still struggle to digest, and moreover, it's something I feel I just don't deserve. With all these layers of hesitation, doubt, and belittlement, I'm more or less an onion. My degree has made me realize that everything I need in order to tap into my full potential is well within me. It's just a matter of me opening my eyes and seeing it for what it is and driving all of my focus into that. My degree has reminded me of why I fell in love with creativity. Never mind all the oversaturated money grabs that we see on TV and social media nowadays. I'm talking about artistic expression. Storytelling is about connecting your listeners to one another and then connecting them to a community and then connecting that community to an even greater network of people. Storytelling exists and translates across all languages, regions, classes, races, etc. Human beings are made to be collaborative and made to relate to one another. In spite of this universality, and bittersweetly, learning about the industry has revealed how incredibly difficult it is for my people of color, to break down the barriers that have been set before them. Rather than embracing and celebrating the diversity and talent that's amongst them, film and TV in the West have built and reserved their resources for the sustenance and betterment of white narratives.
You just have to remember that, like, yo, you have that
you're in this position and you have that responsibility to open those doors up so that when other people can come in and do shows too, other people can, because like people open doors for us,
right?
And we have to do the same thing, you know. So
absolutely.
you're not anything like it's equal parts. What you're doing is very special, but you're not anything more special than anybody. Everybody has a very special part.
ਇਹ ਮੌਕਾ ਇਨਸਾਨ ਕੋ ਕਦੇ ਕਦੇ ਮਿਲਦਾ ਜ਼ਿੰਦਗੀ ਵਿੱਚ ਖੁੱਲਾ ਖਰਚਾ ਕੀਤੇ ਦਾ
Everything in this family is always about work or you. I swear it's like I'm invisible in this house sometimes.
He means well, and he loves you.
ਆ ਜਿਹੜੀਆਂ ਬਾਲੀਵੁੱਡ ਹਾਲੀਵੁੱਡ ਮੂਵੀਜ਼ ਆ ਨਾ ਇਹ ਦੇਖ ਕੇ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਲੱਗਦਾ ਕਿ ਲਵ ਸਾਰਾ ਕੁਝ ਹੈ
Family's everything, man. I can't help you run away from your proms.
I just can't make shit work at home, no matter how hard I try.
Still living with his parents, Jasmeet's protagonist is a Sikh Punjabi guy in his early 30s that makes content online. He shares the realities of many first-generation South Asian immigrants living in Canada. We see the struggles of his character consolidating his upbringing, his culture, and religion with his environment and what's expected of him through his relationships. Like many kids of immigrants, he struggles with his identity, sense of purpose, and feelings of inadequacy, which are truly the pillars to the South Asian diaspora. His segue from online content to mainstream TV felt organic and almost seamless. The platform Jasmeet has grown through YouTube, and the resonance of his content has propelled his audience to appreciate the layered and complex stories he shares through Late Bloomer. He hasn't extended his previous brand, he's reformed it and enriched it. Whether it be through his vines or his vlogs, storytelling seems to bind us all, no matter its format. Those on the receiving end can resonate with, relate to, and find a home within his stories. The teenagers that laughed at his content back then are the adults that reflect over his content now. And for me, that is possibly the greatest gift of being a creative. With a gravity as dense as that, it's kind of a no-brainer as to why I feel like this is my purpose. Being expressive is a deeply personal, vulnerable, and insightful challenge, and I'm not afraid to say it can sometimes be burdensome. Privilege or not, being expressive isn't for the faint of heart. We're the ones saying everything that y'all are thinking, but the only difference is that we have the capacity and the chest to not only say it, but brand ourselves with it. This is why representation for our people, for marginalized voices, matters, especially in the West. I'm 25, and I still remember Proud Family airing their Culture Shock episode where Penny swapped lies with her Pakistani hijabi.
It's a hijab. A what? A hijab.
Classmate, and she learned about Ramadan and Islamophobia. It may not have been accurate or all that great for that matter, but it stuck with me. I felt seen. As a kid that knew no better, I was proud that even a semblance of my own kind were being shown in a time where there was no representation for us. Representation in media is what matters and what brings us together, and Brown Boy Jasmeet took that and ran with it. Having typed this up, relaying this now, editing it later, and posting it, bro, it's embarrassing. I'm embarrassed to be perceived by those that know me, irrespective of their support. My friends, my family, my peers, anyone that finds this video. Anything I do feels futile and unnecessary in comparison to the giants before me. I keep talking on and on about the importance of marginalized communities and suppressed stories, forgetting that I am marginalized communities. I am suppressed stories. I'm a woman in my 20s, I'm Muslim, I'm Indian Pakistani, and all of this terrifies me, but I know I need the creative challenge, and more importantly, I want to be the link between someone and their community. Not everything I put out is going to be a thought piece like this, but it seems like I've got a lot to say, and I think it's time I started talking.